The channel.
Work on a little more side control. And we're going to start out with a side control triple threat. And basically we're going to look at a Kimura, an armbar, and an Americana, all from side control. So we'll see if I can give you a couple different angles. We're going to start with Carl having the proper defense for the side control, which means he's going to have this frame, he's going to have his forearm, and this hand kind of cupping my rib cage, my love handle, right? This hand is going to be up on my trap, keeping me away from him and across my throat. I'm going to have back up just a little bit. I'm going to have my hand under his head, palm down. My left hand is going to come under his shoulder, palm up, and then we're going to do a gable grip. A gable grip is no thumbs, right? We're not clasping in here. We're doing it with no thumbs. So put your thumbs in your hands, clasp here. What we want to do first is I've taken this from Rob Bernanke, but I've taken away this idea of base, posture, and structure. And right now we're kind of in a 3-3 position. The higher the score for me, the better it is for me, and obviously the lower, the worse it is for him. Right now we're neutral. So what I need to do is I need to break down his structure of his side control defense. So what I'm going to do here is remove this hook that is on my hip, and the way I can do that is fairly simple. And I can come up on my toes, turn in here, and just walk this hand back up. I just need to get that frame off, and now it's a little more in favor of my position here. Hopefully you can see here. Maybe I'll take my head backwards here. So from here, you can do a couple different things here. You can, you could remove, I think I've showed before where you remove this hand here and put it over your head. You can attack it from this position with the hand with the arm on the hip. Another position we could do is if he's got this one's actually probably a more likely case that I would do. I like to do this. I like to do this technique where it's a staple, windshield wiper, and then I attack this side. It really isolates the side of the arm. By putting this on my hip, I mean it is high up in here, and I can still do these same techniques. The technique here is to come in from here, bring this arm over and trap it, bring this hand inside, push it down, and then I can go into the Kimura from here. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take his hand, and I'm gonna it's a paintbrush, and paint the floor. And I'm just gonna as I paint the floor with his hand, I'm gonna slowly pull my elbow up, keeping pressure on his wrist and lifting his elbow. Now I've said before, some people will get in here and they'll switch their base. They'll put their elbow down to the hip, switch here, and get here. But now you see how Carl comes up. If he gets the right motion or be strong enough, he'll fight this Kimura and he'll push back into me, right? And now there's a chance he's got this arm free. Just gets in a lot of different positions I really don't want to deal with. So if I'm here, I'm gonna take my hand, paint the floor with, and as I'm doing that, I'm not just doing that, I'm also lifting up on my elbow, right? This is gonna be a lot of pressure on the shoulder. Their defense from here is to push this arm straight. So as this arm's coming here, they want to straighten it out. So as I'm pulling in here, Carl straightens it out, right? So now I can't get this in. I can't pull this in. What I want to do is take my elbow and drive it even deeper into his body. So I'm going to drive up onto my elbow, and then now it's like a V for victory, right? Vendetta. So I'm going to take this arm, slide it in, and I'm going to change that fulcrum And I'm gonna have a much better lever here. The arm comes up. If I just leave it down in here, I run out of room. The floor is in the way. So what I do is I slide my arm in, get my elbow nice and deep, and I create a much higher, much better lever right here. Right? You can grab your shoulder. If you have a gi on, you can grab your gi. Again, the elbow's up like this. So I've raised the fulcrum up higher, and now I have a lot more room to apply this. Push it straight down, right? So you go to paint, he straightens it out, you slide this in deep, it comes up. And as you do that, you kind of turn it over so the thumb is pointing up. You want the arm is here, you want to turn it so this elbow pit is pointing straight up. And now you're just gonna pull it straight down like a slot machine handle. Boom, straightens it, elbow in deep, here. Now as you're doing this arm bar here, their next way to defend that is just to turn it up this way, right? So they're gonna turn it here, go straight. Now they're gonna bend it back this way to kind of get out of that position. Here, here, and now they're gonna turn it up in here. What you can do is trap with your head, and what you can do is put your head down and just kind of keep it trapped on this side of the body. You're gonna switch arms. You can lift this up if you want, put this under, or you can just slide it right in between your arm and the floor. And now what you can do is come back. As you pull this arm back, I put it onto the bicep and then slide it down. And now we have the tree up, or the hands up into this Americana. Again, no thumbs here. There's no reason to use thumbs. And I put my elbow right next to his head. And then the same thing here is we paint the floor, lift the elbow up. Again, a lot of people will switch their hips. You know, you don't need to. You can just stay in the same position and paint. The other way I like to do this is to do, so that one was to move the hip, to do the hip switch, to turn it here, then drive the legs back up, get that arm resting on your leg. The other one I like to do is, if he's defending, proper frames, I have my side control. The thing I can do here is cup his shoulder, and we're going to go into a scarf. So this hand's going to come in and grab the back of his tricep. I'm going to pyramid up and sit through into my scarf. I'm pulling this arm across my belly, and I'm cupping this shoulder. And here you're going to want to be, you don't want to sit on the floor because then you're giving him a break. So you want to drive back into him. My toe is turned down, driving into him. Now, not too much that he can push you over. You want to kind of melt your body around his rib cage. My butt is just hovering above the floor. It's not like an inch or two. It's just like really, you know, a 16th of an inch, maybe less. Now I want to deal with this arm, this frame across my head. But we don't need to do it with it immediately, right? A lot of times we'll grab his hand, toss it around, and go here. We can leave it here, but you just gotta watch where we put our head. If we put our head this way, we break our own posture, and now our alignment's off and we're much weaker. He can push us here, throw his legs up and catch us, right? And we're not gonna turn this way. This doesn't make sense. So what we're gonna do is, we're pulling this arm across our belly, we're keeping this here, and we're putting a little pressure into him, right? Making him carry their weight. From here, we're gonna take our chin and bite down on their wrist, so now they can't really remove it, right? We have this control. I'm gonna slide my hand back to his wrist. I'm gonna take a little shrimp, baby shrimp here, back to his hip, and drive my right knee over and staple this down. So you have my feet on one side, not dead toes, there's no strength there. Stay on your toes and trap it on the other side. This is pretty secure. I've had a much smaller female, a girl who, very good brown belt, Clara North, she had me in this position for a long time. Matter of fact, she went back and forth from this kind of staple to this position where she windshield wipered over here, positioned around. You can keep moving around in this position, right? So she windshield wipered in here, and now you can play with all kinds of chokes. So the idea is, as you're in here, shrimp back, drive this over. However you get to this position, that's how you get to this position. Toes are up, you have live toes. Now what you're gonna do is, you're not just gonna take your foot off here and then replace it. You're gonna do it in a way that keeps control of that arm. You do this, your foot is locked down. So what I like to do is slide my foot down a little bit to the wrist and come on the inside, all right? So I'm in here, slide down to the wrist, and then put my foot inside. Now I can take it off, right? Once I have this in here, you can do the same exact thing. This hand will come, this hand will replace, come in here, I come into the arm in between. So I've slid this in between his arm, he's still framing here and biting down. I'm coming on the inside, now I'm patting this, pushing it straight to the ground. And now if he comes up, what you can do, because we're kind of, there's a lot of space here, what you can do is now cheat that leg over, and now you can, fall into it, prevent, you can sit on it. This also turns into a Kimura. With the triple threat from here, you have this in here. You can come back down. He straightens it out, duck that in here. Straightens it, goes on the other side. This hand will slide in between your arm and their body. This hand's gonna come up on the bicep. Push this hand to the ground. You lock the figure 4 up. Elbow down by the side of their head. And now you're just gonna paint the floor again. Again, that little stapling or windshield wiper move is pretty gold. I like to use it anywhere I can now. So again, that works like this. So this one here, come in, slide in, shrimp back, drive your knee over. Important detail, do not do this. Now you have like a figure, you have an X guard on his arm, but you can't move your right foot. So you gotta do is slide this down, put your left one in, and now post out, right? From here, you can bring this knee back down, switch your arms, lift up, grab his belt, take your left hand, slide it in between his wrist and his bicep, and it's inside the hole here. Now you're just going to swim it back and push that hand down to the ground. This hand is already here. You lock up the figure 4, stumbless. You're going to pull this back and lift up the elbow. His head comes up. You can cheat that leg over, push it down here. You can also pull it up into Kimura. Right? The other one is he straightens his arm, put that elbow in deeper, raise up the fulcrum, nice lever. He turns it upward, push past your head. Left hand slides in between your arm and his body. You can grab the collar, or you can just kind of hug. And now your right hand's gonna come to the bicep, the forearm, push it down to the mat. Lock up your grip. Elbow comes right by his head. And here you just paint the floor again. Tip up the elbow. All right, and the first one I did was this. You have side control, up, turn in, drive your knee over so it's resting here. From here, his hand comes around, grabs the belt, or if you're not in the gi, you just hug the arm. Your left hand can come in between this forearm and the bicep, this little hole here, and push it straight down to the ground, right? Staying nice, pulling this elbow in, not giving him any space. Lift up the elbow, paint the floor, straightens it out, elbow in, higher fulcrum, lever around your head, push it over to the side, and trap it there with your head. If you decide you want to bring it in, head goes down. From here, you're going to take your left hand, slide it in between your arm and his body to trap it. Your right hand comes back, I usually come in the bicep or the forearm, whatever I can get at this point, coming back. Again, I'm not creating a lot of space, coming back, traps it to the ground, lock up my figure 4, thumbless. Elbow comes right by the side of his head, pulls him back in a little bit, lift up the elbow, boom, right? If you can get this, sometimes you can twist the wrist. That helps. And that's it. That's the triple threat. Right? Let's just add in the quiet.